What's up, guys?
Dad.
Oh, another week, huh?
Yep.
You got your boat snacks? You got your boat snacks?
Yep.
Has it been fun?
Yeah.
Been catching some fish?
Yeah. Yep.
Did you sleep good or what?
No.
Oh, Callie says no. So we're actually over in Wisconsin right now for this fishing report, over at the cabin having some fun. But we thought we'd give you a pretty good recap of some things we're finding. Also chat a little bit of ICAST. The ICAST, I was down in Florida, showing off some new stuff. We were down there with Blackfish gear and Clam outdoors and all-terrain bass jigs, showing off what's new for the upcoming seasons. And it was kind of fun to walk around. It's starting to bounce back. You're seeing people from all over, literally all over the world, attend that ICAST convention down in Orlando. And we saw some cool stuff. Big shout out to the team at Blackfish, everyone on the team. Best in category for cold weather men's apparel. Our soft shell lineup, not surprised. We live in that stuff. Anyone that knows me knows I live in that. Even in the winter time, it's my outerwear, my ice fishing jacket. So the Gale pullover soft shell, the storm skin lineup, all that stuff. Kudos to the entire team for winning best in category at ICAST. Okay, moving on. Let's see. I'll tell you a couple cool new things I saw at ICAST. I know a bunch of you were asking. Trolling motors are really stepping up, whether it's Power Pole, which won Busting Class, Minn Kota, Garmin, all the trolling motors out there are just rock solid. We're very spoiled nowadays with the technology behind all this stuff. Lures, there was all kinds of amazing lures. I'd spent an entire video going through all of them, from plastics to hard baits. You're gonna like a lot of the stuff you see coming out down the pipeline over the next 6 months. A lot of cool stuff. From the clothing side of things, like I said, we showcased some of our new stuff at Blackfish Gear. Cool stuff that keeps you comfortable. Brand new rain suit called the Zephyr, which is a pullover and a pair of pants. There's a brand new boat, I think, called Icon. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It's a glass bass boat. Man, does that thing look sleek. It was slick, it looked awesome. We saw all kinds of new knives, fillet knives, electric, non-electric, boat accessories. I'll tell you what, the list just goes on and on. The fishing industry in general continues to push the gamut. So, all right, should we talk fishing?
Yeah.
You caught some bass yesterday. You're gonna catch some more bass today?
Yeah.
You caught some bass today. You're gonna catch some more bass today? Okay.
Yeah, but they trick us because they keep biting on it and they just leave it.
That's how it works. She says they trick us because they keep biting and they leave. That is how the fishing world works. There's a bunch of distinct ways we caught our fish this week. Tell you what, water temps actually dropped just a hair. It was not the warmest of weeks. We woke up some mornings again in the 50s. Water temps dropped and stayed in the 70s. Not seeing much for 80-degree water temp in the Twin Cities. Even here in western Wisconsin, 78-degree water temps is about as warm as I've seen this weekend. But we've seen them bite really 3 patterns of baits are how we're catching the majority of our fish. I'm starting off, it seems like, a lot of spots in 8 to 15 feet of water, and I'm throwing a swim bait at them. And I'm throwing that. This has been one of my go-tos, I'd say, the last few days. I've caught a lot of fish on this. I'm fishing an all-terrain smasher head, which is a minnow-shaped head. I'll put a link down below. Minnow-shaped head, and I got about a 3 or 4 aught hook on here. Then I'm fishing a pretty good sized paddle tail body, like a minnow bait. This happens to be a Largo shad. And I did take a little bit off the head there. You might notice that. Flatten it up a bit. I had a little bit of fish pulling that down. I changed the profile about a 1/2 inch, which you can certainly do. And this thing's gonna get out there and get deep. And I'm fishing a 17-pound fluorocarbon line. I got a 7.6 heavy action rod, and I got a Shimano Corrado DC, and I'm throwing this usually parallel with the structure. You guys know what that means?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Parallel?
Yeah.
What is it?
Diagonal.
Sort of alongside, like right in line, same with the structure. So if the structure's running this way, I'm casting out that way. I'm not casting up onto the structure. I'm not casting into it. I'm sitting in 8 to 15 feet looking for the sparse weeds, not the heavy gunk, the sparse weeds, and I'm casting parallel with that weed line. And I'm just slowly swimming this back to the boat. And I'm paying attention to my active target up front, my forward-facing sonar, to make sure you know exactly that speed to retrieve. And that's another cool feature of these forward-facing sonars, is we teach ourselves and we learn just how fast we should be retrieving the bait to make sure it stays at the desired depth. So it is crawling that bait sometime, especially in 14, 15, 16 feet of water, to keep that bait in that bottom 3 foot strike zone. And they're absolutely crushing this. Caught some good fish in this, didn't we, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah? Would you eat that?
Yeah.
So that's been a good one, a swim bait, good size swim bait, super fun way to fish. They bite a lot like a crank. They just kind of pick it up, you turn into them, and you kind of set the hook and bring them home. Another option, which we've talked about dozens and dozens of times, but it just flat out is catching fish, is a Ned rig.
That's the one I use.
This is the one you use. This is the one you're using. We're just using that Mr. Twister Ned ringer, using a Z-Man Ned lock head. I went up a little bit in weight. I think this might even be, I'm not sure, a 1/6. They have a weird size. I think this is a 1/6. I went up a little bit so I can stay down there. This just flat out catches fish, doesn't it? Catches fish? Catches nice fish? Does it hook the boat carpet?
No.
Okay, no boat carpet. And on this rod setup, I'm using a 7-foot medium action rod, quick tip. I got 832, 15-pound braid, and I got a 6-er. Actually, this is an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader on there. Big thing with this, like I tell anybody, is you cast it out there and you work on your patience game. You get contact with the bottom, you're fishing slow, you're making subtle hops, you let that fish come pick it up, you feel a bump, you feel a tick. Even the biggest fish will come up and just tick it. It's not a whack, it's just a tick, up, up. If you feel a tick, it's probably something trying to mess with it, and it's not your bait because it's not live. So Ned rig fishing, absolutely gonna stay in the arsenal for a while. The other option that we've been catching a bunch of fish on in the last few days is pitching a jig. And I've been leaning heavily on the RLVNT jig from All Terrain. I talked about this exact color last week. I continued to fish it this weekend just to see if I was off my rocker, the Okeechobee craw. I'm not. It's catching a bunch of fish. This color just seems to work well in a variety of situations. Blue and black is hot, right? Blue and black is probably one of the most trademark jigs. Now this isn't blue and black. This is blue and green pumpkin. And I smile because green pumpkin is one of my favorite colors. I don't fish a lot of black baits. I've never done phenomenal on blue and black because honestly, I just don't give it a lot of attention. But this one here has earned a nod in my arsenal. And the cool thing about Mr. Twister is they have an Okeechobee pocket craw that matches up perfectly with the Okeechobee RLVNT jig. What do you think about that? It makes some noise? Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yep.
And this is a great bait to fish in a variety of structure conditions from 6 feet out to 20 feet. You can skip them around docks, whatever. I'm using a 7'2" medium heavy rod for this. I'm not into a heavy action. I am swimming this a little more. I'm not necessarily punching with this. I do have a braided main line. I went with a 30-pound braided main line, and I have a 12-pound fluorocarbon leader on this. And I'm using a Corrado DC. Absolutely love that reel. And this is something where you can pitch it out, swim it back to the boat, pitch it out, let it sit. Because of that rattle, I'll give it a couple shakes, let it go back down to the bottom, give it a couple shakes, go back to the bottom, maybe swim it back a little bit, kind of change up my cadence, see what this fish wants. And again, hook sets are free. You feel a bump, you set the hook, you bring them home. Those have been probably my go-to 3 approaches right now to catch fish, anywhere from shallow water out to 20 feet of water, variance in cover, and that's been what's getting bit, right?
Yeah.
What are you guys eating? What are you guys feeding on? You guys are feeding on
Crackers.
soup crackers. Yep, there you go. So this is what's catching
One time,
8-year-olds and 9-year-olds, soup crackers.
one time we put one in the water and something bit it because it was gone the next time we looked.
Yeah, she said she put one in the water and something bit it.
So now
There you
you
go.
guys know. Try to fish with these.
Fish with those. So we're gonna go back out later today and chase down some more fish. Maybe try to catch some walleyes. We brought some leeches. I don't know. We'll see if we can catch some walleyes maybe this afternoon, this evening, which is fun. I'm far from a great walleye fisherman. We'll go out there. We'll try and see what happens. So that's us on a bus, don't you think?
Yep.
This week looks to be good. I plan to be on Minnetonka a whole bunch this week. I should have a really good, solid Minnetonka fishing report for people. Hopefully we get out there and crack them. I'm going to be fishing the east side, the west side. I have trips in Wayzata Bay Public Docks. I have trips I'm picking up at Lord Fletcher's. We're going to be all over the place this coming week. Super excited to get out there and chase down some fish. Back in Minnesota for the whole week. Florida's behind me. We'll be home from Wisconsin shortly. And then it's all about Minnesota bass fishing. Right, guys?
Yep.
Fist bumps. Sweet. We will catch you next week. Anything you guys want to say on the way out?
Peace. Bye.
Peace.
Wait. Use these.
All right,
Now you
use
guys know.
the oyster crackers for soup. Later.